When it comes to food, I guess I don't really discriminate. I love all types of food. I guess mainly ethnic foods is something I really fancy.
I am a big foodie. I love food of all kinds, and yes, Asian food is special to my stomach. So I love Thai food. I love Vietnamese food, of course, my #1 favorite. And I love Indian. I love Japanese. I love Chinese. I love Korean. So you name it, I love it. I guess I have a lot of comfort food. That would be like jiao, which is like rice porridge, of course, for those Vietnamese out there. That's a good comfort food. And I love Vietnamese pastries.
Well, I mean, when I was in Bolivia, I really miss fast food, like McDonald's hamburgers and stuff like that. But, I guess going to Bolivia and tasting different types of foods really expanded my taste in other types of food. So, I guess I've been more conscious about my weight too, so I haven't been, I guess I don't like eating out. I mean, it tastes good, but it's, I guess, not healthy, so I just try to stay away from that kind of food.
I'd have to say Greek food. I mean, I love Greek food. Just everything about it. I mean, like the spices, the flavors, and it's just, there's nothing that compares to Greek food. My second Thai food, I'd say, I like the Thai food. I mean, I love the spice. I love that, kick you get from having Thai cuisine. And there's just so much out there.
So, I actually love all sorts of foods. My favorite thing is to try different things. So, in particular, I guess if I had to choose one specific type of cuisine that I would like, it's probably Chinese and Japanese.
Right now, I'm editor of an Asian American newspaper in Seattle called the International Examiner. So currently, I'm not actually part of an Asian American group, but I have been involved with the Vietnamese Professional Society. I've done some social service work with different Vietnamese immigrant rights groups. And in college, I was president for a year of the Asian American Student Alliance, so sort of have a history of being in different Asian American groups.
I'm currently interning at the International Examiner. I'm an editorial intern, actually, so I'm writing all these wonderful articles about the Asian community, what's going on, arts, I mean, food. There's just so much out there in Seattle, especially within the Asian community. And I feel like the mission of the International Examiner is just something it's great, it's one of a kind, and I'm just glad that I'm part of this organization.
I actually work for the International Examiner, so that's what I'm currently involved in right now. That's of Asian American pertinence.
Culture-wise, my parents were born in Cambodia, actually, and ethnically they're Chinese. So my grandparents immigrated from Shanghai to Cambodia, actually. So for my parents growing up, they were Chinese, but at the same time, culturally, they're Cambodian. So then eventually my parents immigrated to United States, where we're at right now. And so for me, growing up in my household, I mean, there was just this mix of cultures. And we had Cambodian culture, we had American culture, and we had Chinese culture, So we'd celebrate Chinese New Year, we'd celebrate Cambodian New Year, and at the same time, we'd celebrate American holidays, too. So for me, I mean, having this huge, amount of influence from these cultures, it's just been something that's out of the world for me, And it created the person I am today.
I don't think I'm going to join any Asian American clubs because I think generally it kind of fosters this type of pride in your culture, and I think for some people, I guess a lot of people, that's important to them, but to me it's not about being proud. I think that's kind of, it implies that your culture is somewhat better. I just kind of recognize where I'm from, but yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly content with where I'm from, so I don't think I need the obligation to join some kind of club, so I'm not going to join Asian American clubs.
I'm not quite Chinese, but I'm not quite American. It's kind of a mold of some. It's kind of like how a lot of people have described the U.S. as a melting pot, and I kind of feel like I reflect that.
Well, I feel content with my culture and my background, but I don't feel obligated to join any organizations or any clubs or, to show that I'm affiliated with my culture. So.
I think for me, what identifies me to my culture is, I think, obviously the way I look. Can't really escape that much. And I also have a great connection to the food. My family keeps me very connected to my culture and my community here, where I work in the International District, Chinatown in Seattle. And so, and also my social life is very much connected. I hang out at a Hawaiian restaurant up north and have a lot of Asian American friends up there. So a lot of different ways I tie to my culture.
I never felt like I was quite Chinese or quite American, kind of something in between or a mix of, along with other cultures, just having grown up in Seattle in a diverse community that really feel like I reflect the melting pot of the U.S.